Hello and welcome. Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Emerald. Tonight is going to be a fun stream. I thought I'd combine a few things and have a really great time with it. So we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to tell some ghost stories. Hopefully my friend Dread has some. He has no idea I'm doing this either, so hopefully he'll participate. If he doesn't, that's totally fine. I'm hoping to interlude with some ghost stories. So if you're watching this and you don't like ghost stories, just heads up. But they're like personal ghost stories. I'm not reading from like somebody's that I don't know. These are things that I've gone through, I've went through, or a family member has gone through or went through. Those are the only ones right now I'll be sharing. I'm sharing this side of myself, which is super weird for me, but I love it, and I hope you do too. So anyways, and look at my background. Isn't it cute and spooktacular? I've got these cute little ghosties that I made. Look at them. Look at them being all ghosty-like. And I put some little twinkly lights up, and we've got some candles going. And these are mummy lights. You can't tell that they're mummies, but they're really cute. And they're But yeah, look how cute and spooky it is. I like it. Ooh, ah. So spooky ghost stories to start. And then, so I've got an EMF reader. I thought I'd just plunk him in the background and just turn him on. The front area picks up EMF. Like if you smack it, it's gonna go off. If I bring him close to my headset, he's gonna beep, beep, beep. If I bring him close to the microphone, he's gonna beep, beep, beep. But if you hold him nice and steady, shouldn't be beep beep. We'll just put him back there and see if it rings through anything. This room tends to be a little bit more active just because of all the electronics, and there's a mirror and there's a giant window. And can you stop, please? We're not ready yet. You can just cool your jets. So anyways, I've invited in, I get it, you're here, my ancestors. That's all I've invited. And we will be playing Phasmophobia. You can, oh, no. Okay. Just cool your jets, please. I also have, I haven't turned it on yet. Here's the pull tab. This is a cat toy. It's motion censored. So if it gets bumped, we'll pull the tab together. Should work. It'll blinky blinky. Look at that. And you kind of have to move it in order for it to blinky blinky. Now we're gonna plunk him behind us along with my EMF reader. Good vibes right now, nothing's there. And then if this gets bumped, it'll go off. I might not even be able to hear the EMF reader. We might be able to see it glow. We might not be able to see it glow. I feel like the cat ball is a much easier target for them. Let me just join this really quick. And then we'll get into ghost stories. I will tell you a background on why. That'll be tonight. And then there'll be a different story. I'm hopefully going forward every night. Let me just say hi to him and let him know what's going on. Hi, friend.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm going to give you the lowdown. I'm having an extra spectacular, spooky evening, I hope. We're also going to be doing ghost stories on stream. So if you have a ghost story that you would like to tell us, a personal one, I'd love to hear it because I love ghost stories.
I definitely have a ghost story that comes to mind. It might be a Wendigo story. It might be a ghost. It's a supernatural story.
I love that. Anything paranormal. I'm down to hear. I'm down to listen. This is gonna be so much fun. So I've got ghost stories. I'm gonna just, while he's setting up and stuff, I'm gonna tell you. So my thing is like, I grew up in a relatively, for the area that I grew up in, a relatively what we would call haunted house. It was built in 1926. Might not be old for a lot of provinces or state in the States or even around the freaking world. But for the area I grew up in, I was relatively, that's pretty old. It was pretty haunted. I saw many a ghost growing up. It was built by ferry captain for a little bit of time. It was used during World War II. It was used as sort of like a, I guess, a waiting house. I don't know what you would call it, for women. A couple women stayed there, I think, waiting for their beaux to get back from war. So yeah, there's been lots of ghost sightings. You know, a lot of them actually during the daytime. Surprisingly, that house had a lot going on during the day. We had other people that would come over during the daytime, like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and see people thinking they were other people in the house, and when in reality, no. Yeah, I had many experiences. I bet I had more than I actually remember having. But yeah, get ready for spooky. I will tell ghost stories. I grew up in a house. It was haunted. It was built in 1926. It wasn't like crazy old, but you know, it was something. And I would see stuff all the time.
Spirit, where are you?
Nope. 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 You stay. Nope. No. No. Can't. Yes, Karen. Wow. I can't believe I did that, you guys. I am a freaking... Wow. It came right at me. I smudged at the right time. I'm so proud of myself. I saw it. I smudged. It turned around and walked away. It threw a couple of teddy bears at me. It got real mad, but it left.
I never told that ghost story. I'm sorry. I was so like...
No. Me too. Me
Into
too.
it.
I've been trying to like talk in between doing things and I keep losing my where I was in my story and like I'm just skipping all over the place. You can tell it now if you'd like. We've got spooky music. To light a jack-o'-lantern.
2016.
I'm sitting for this.
Oh.
Crisscross applesauce.
I was in Utah.
It's a ghost story.
And we were
Tell me if
walking
you need-
up this beautiful hike at night. And when we crossed the river, a veil of darkness fell upon us. And we were lost all of a sudden
Yummy.
on this trail. And all the people that were on the trail, they were no longer there. It's just us. As if we stepped into another dimension, another world. And on our descent, as we were trying to find our way back to the trail, we were being followed by something. And there were bushes rustling to our left, trees crackling to our right. We were scared and lost. And as we were making our way down in the dark, the cracking of the trees, the rustling of the bushes got louder and louder and louder.
No.
My friend in the back, right before we made it out, fell down,
Oh.
tripped over something.
Oh.
He got hit actually by a rock.
Oh.
That's what made him fall.
Oh. Ow.
And as he looked behind him, he saw a very, very tall, spindly, humanoid shape leap over the trail
No.
as gracefully as a deer. And that
Ew.
feeling of dread, we all felt it.
Yeah.
But somehow we all made it out.
Clearly,
We're all
you're
safe.
still here. That's pretty creepy.
That's my story.
I would be freaked out as well.
It was pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Wendigo. Didn't
Yeah.
seem like it was very ghost-like.
No, if he saw it and it wasn't like he didn't see like a cougar or something, right? He saw a
Yeah,
tall being.
humanoid
Gross.
shape.
Definitely Wendigo action. That was spooky. I was just loved it. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening.
I'm not a
Yeah.
very good storyteller, but I've got stories from the house. Did you ever go to my parents' house?
I have once.
Because that house was haunted. You know that, right?
I did not know that.
What? Brother never told you?
He never said no.
Okay, because that house was built in 1926, so it's relatively old, not crazy old, but it's seen some stuff. And it was during the war. It was a like a boarding house in a sense for women who are waiting for their husbands to come home from war. That's why I think there's 3 ghosts that I've kind of identified. That I know 2 of them reside there. I don't know about the third one. If the third one was just kind of there, it's not overly prevalent. The male presence is the most known presence. Most of us in our house have had an experience of some sort. My dad doesn't believe in things, although maybe I'll tell this one, that my dad is a non-believer. He denies the whole thing. He's like, no, there's no such thing. However, this time, so he doesn't believe in it at all whatsoever. None of us were there, so we must have all been adults. So this wasn't like maybe I was in my 20s, maybe younger brother was out. Nobody else was in the house, it was just my mom. We had all moved out, I guess. My mom and my dad sleeping in their bed, dead asleep. And all of a sudden, both of them at the same time woke up, said to the other, "What did you say?" And they're like, "Well, I didn't say anything. You said something." And And then the mom was like, no, I didn't say, like, you just whispered something to me. But they couldn't, it was inaudible. It was just like a hush, 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 like they didn't know what it said. But it was loud enough that it was like both of their ears. Both are like, that wasn't me, that was you. Because they're both fairly light sleepers. So like anything kind of wakes them up. My dad was so freaked out. At first he was like, it sounded like a person. So he got up, got his baseball bat that he has under the bed, you know. He went and searched every single room in the house and made sure all the doors were locked, all the windows were closed, because he was certain that it was an actual voice. They just didn't know what it said. But it freaked him out so much that he went and searched the whole house. And then afterwards he was like, oh, it must have been just wind in the vents. Or it was you. It must have been you.
Oh, that is spooky.
That one was... The fact that I got my dad... Because if he didn't hear it, he would have just been like, oh, you know, to my mom, you're just, you know, it was
things.
Nothing. Yeah, it was nothing. It was probably like a dog rustling around but there was, none of us were there. So he was like, it wasn't a kid, but he was certain that there was somebody in the house. And he went around looking for somebody and there was nobody there. That one was a good one. I was like, oh, finally, Dad. It got you, Dad. You can't deny it. And he still denies it. He's still like, no. It was wind in the vent. I'm like, no.
It had to be.
It had to be wind in the vent. Okay, I'll tell you one more. Well, oh my gosh, my mom has had some pretty crazy ones. My dad had been working in Ontario, and he comes back. He would come back and forth. He would spend like 3 weeks there and then 3 weeks home, and he would just go back and forth. So and this was when we were all grown up and out. So my mom was at our house alone. My dad was in Ontario. She's lying in bed. She's asleep. She gets woken up to like an earthquake. Her whole bed is just violently like jumping around. And so she's like, oh shit, like an earthquake, you know, because we're on a fault line. Like it's bound to happen. There's an earthquake. And in those few moments, she's looking around the room as her bed's shaking, trying to figure out what to do. And she realizes that nothing else in the room is shaking. It's just her bed. So she knows the ghost in the house. So she's fed up at this point with it because she's lived with it for the past 20 years. So she's just like, you need to stop doing that right now. And the bed stopped.
Oh my God.
She told it to go away. That's another creepy one. We have some creepy ones, but we've also had some ones where he's just kind of like walking around the house. Like a whole bunch.
He's just chilling.
Yeah. He's just chilling, just doing his thing. So yeah, that house is haunted. I want to do an investigation before my parents leave and find out the names of the ghosts. That's my goal.
That sounds like it would be exciting. Definitely exciting, but also
right.
very scary.